Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. So in this video I'm gonna show you how you can basically achieve this kind of cool scroll based animation using GreenSock library and the ScrollTrigger plugin that they have, and also using Google Earth Studio. So as you see here right now, I'm just scrolling, and as I scroll down, I'm going through a bunch of images that I downloaded from a Google Earth project, and we can do the similar thing using videos as well. So I'm gonna show you the process and how you can implement this in your projects if needed. As you can see, it's really cool. We're actually going to work on this one here, which is a view of the Monaco F1 racetrack. Right now you can see as I scroll, we'll go through the racetrack and also some cool changing the view and all the other things that you just saw. You can use this method for all your videos or a bunch of images that you can have. Each image will represent one frame, and then you can play that video or like go through all the images using just like scrolling. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing for us to do is to get the 3D view of the racetrack, and to get that we're gonna use Google Earth Studio. So you can go to earth.google.com/studio, and there you should see two options: a blank project and also open project. Since this is our first project, I'm just gonna click on blank project here, and then I'm gonna give it a name. So I've picked the Monaco Grand Prix, the racetrack there. So I'm just gonna give it a name, Monaco F1, and then for the dimensions, I'm gonna do 1920 and 1080. So if you type 1920, 1080 is just gonna automatically get updated. I'm gonna stick with the 60 frames per second here. So for me to have a, let's say, 6-second video, I will need the 600 frames here. And yeah, so this is my settings here. We can adjust these later on also, but for now I'm just gonna hit start here, and then we're gonna be presented this basically view editor, and with that we can have access to like a Google Maps kind of thing. On this left side we have the Earth view here, and then we have our animation stuff, our timeline, and our attributes here. So what we're gonna do, we can actually click on the search location icon here, and I'm gonna do Monaco Grand, here, the Grand Prix de Monaco, and then if you select that, it's gonna automatically zoom in there. And by the way, you can adjust the size of the these different views by dragging this middle section here. And so this is the place, this is where the F1 race happens. And so there are a few keys that you can use to navigate through this map over here. With your mouse scroll wheel, you can just like zoom in and out. If you hold option or alt key and then you click, you can like kind of change the view, and you can click and drag to kind of like pan over to wherever you want to see and then again scroll wheel, you can zoom in and out. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna start from this view a little bit zoomed out of the like entire place here, and in this playhead up here, we see that we have like 0 to 600. That's our frames that the number of frames that we picked, which like I said, you can change if you go to file, project settings. Here you can just change the dimensions, frame per second, and also the duration, but I'm gonna keep 600 frames here, and this is gonna be my first frame. So just adjust your map wherever you want to start your video, and then there you can click on this keyframe all attributes here. So I'm gonna click on that, and there I see I have like keyframes on the camera position and the rotation here. So that's my first keyframe. The next one, I'm gonna zoom in. You can zoom in and then like click the mouse and then kind of like move around. I'm gonna zoom a little bit more in. So I'm gonna define a target for my camera right now. So I right click here wherever I want it to be my target, so that the camera will be like looking at that. And I'm gonna do set camera target here. It might not be exactly located where you wanted it. It's fine, you can go to this view and just click on this and then like move it around. So like this will be your target here. And then once you do that, you will have additional attributes down here. If you scroll down, we only had camera position and the rotation. Now we have also target here. You can keyframe all that again. So while you have it as 0 playhead here, just click on keyframe all attributes, and then you basically lock down all these attributes for your 0 keyframe. Since I had already moved my camera here, so it kind of wrote the camera position as well. So I'm actually gonna zoom out to my original view, which was here, and now I'm gonna keyframe it. So if before I do that, if you see like a yellow kind of like icon here, that means it's changed. So once you click on keyframe all attributes, it's gonna turn to blue, and now everything is locked down. So that's my first keyframe. Then maybe like 120 keyframes later, I want to zoom in maybe to this grandstand area. I'm gonna do like a little bit of rotation also, a little bit more zooming in. So I still have my camera target over here, and that's fine. So I'm gonna keyframe this frame also. So click on this, you'll see these lines appear and everything is fine. You can do a quick preview, or just by dragging this over here, the playhead, you can see how this looks, or play like hit this play button here. This is gonna go all the way, so let's just like drag it onto 120, and then for 120 maybe we move to like 300 over here. Let's say I wanna move along this racetrack, so let's say for 300 I want to like be here. I do or maybe it's better like we do a little bit faster. Let's do 180 here, and since 60 frame per second was the frame rate that we picked, so 180 is gonna be 3 seconds in. So 120 was 2 seconds. 1 second after, I wanna be here, so I'm gonna right click here. I'm gonna set camera target, And then here I'm gonna adjust my view, so I'm gonna be like this, and then I can keyframe this as well. Let's take a look. So I'm gonna play it, I'm gonna go there, and then kind of like move along this racetrack. And then maybe in 240 I want to be like here. I can right click here, set camera target, and then if things look weird a little bit, you can go back here, just move this keyframe in playhead here, and then again here you can move around, pan around. Just I want to like kind of like look in there from this view. That's like the first tunnel there, and then I'm gonna keyframe this as well. So let's play it. Okay, so I'm just like dragging this playhead over there. I'm gonna move along this racetrack, and then I do the same, a little bit turning, and then here I am looking at this tunnel here. We'll take a look at this map over here in a minute, but right now I'm just placing my keyframes. Let's say now I'm gonna like put it in 420, like 7 seconds, and let's zoom out a little bit. I want to maybe like turn a little bit here, and let's see, maybe this right here is good. I want to keep the target where it was. I'll do a keyframe for all my attributes again at 420. So let's play it. I just drag it, it's easier. So we move along, and then there is that. There is another turn here, zoom out. And then for my last, let's say, keyframe over here, 600, I want to target this, like again, maybe right here, set camera target, and I will be kind of like panning around and like a view of the like this city or like this place from behind where we started. So I'm gonna keyframe it again, and let's play the whole thing now. Kind of looks cool. Zooming in, moving around, turning again, like a turn, and then like we move over to the like behind the city. So that's that. We're almost done. Over here in this map, you can take a look at the path. This is the path that your camera will be moving, and for each of these corners, if you click on them, you can like change the easing here. So for example, if you drag this little bar over here, you'll be able to adjust the easing. Maybe this happened too fast, you can like ease it a little bit. This one is also not good, so you can make it like a little bit smoother here, and we should it should be better. Let's play it. Sometimes less smooth is better, but like right now we want to have that like turning and everything to happen smoothly and not real quick. So yeah, as you can see, I'm happy with what we have here, and the next step is for us to export this. So we have two options to export it. If you click on render over here, you can see we have a preview of our video and all the other details here. One thing you need to be careful about is the attribution. So if I go to google.com/earth/studio and under frequently asked questions, make sure to read these, all of these, about like if you can use it for like any project that you're working on, how you need to attribute Google in your project and all those things. So here we have that attribution position. You can select where you want to put it and all these other settings that you can fix. So I'm just gonna leave it as it is here, and that's good. As I said, we have two options to export it. One is image sequence and one is video. We're gonna do both. So if you do video here, this is gonna be rendered in the cloud, and then once it's done, you're gonna get an email that the video is ready. So nothing will happen here. You just like submit it here, which is what I'm gonna do right now. So I will submit, and then it tells you it's submitting to cloud renderer and it's successfully sent there. So this is gonna be rendered and you will get an email with the link to download the video. Just don't forget also keep saving your work. I forgot to mention this, so file save, always do that. I'm gonna keep the same name, and then the other way we wanna render it is using image sequence. So we'll take a look at both in our code and how each will look like. Eventually we need to make the decision and pick one of them, but for now I'm doing both of them. So for image sequence, the key thing is that once you start it, first of all you need to select a destination for your images to be downloaded, and since we have 600 frames here, it's gonna download one image per frame. So you're gonna have 601 images, because like it starts from 0 frame all the way to 600. So that's 601 frames and 601 images. So it's really important to keep in mind that these are gonna be like, each image can be like at least 1 megabyte or so. We're gonna talk more about that in a minute, but sometimes you just probably you're better off if you do like 300 frames or even 200, depending on the project you're working on. So here I'm gonna click start, and it's okay. What I'm gonna do is I have to stay on this tab of my Google Chrome, and if I move away from this tab or this like screen that I have, the rendering is gonna pause. So what you need to do, you just have to leave it here and let it render, and once it's rendered you'll get a message that all the images are rendered and ready. If you look at to the folder that you selected for these images to be saved, you should be able to see them basically be getting added to your folder. So I'm actually gonna take a quick look over here. So I have this folder Monaco F1, which is under images. That's the folder I selected, images, and then it's gonna create this folder for me, Monaco F1, and then here there's gonna be a folder called footage, and here it's gonna create all the images for me. So as you can see, 104, 105, 106, and all the way to 600, since it started from 0. So once that's done, we'll go to our code, and I'll show you how we can implement this in our code. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do is to get the starter code from GitHub. I'll put a link to this repo in the description box below this video. So make sure if you want to get the starter code and follow with me, just select the starter branch here, and then you can download the zip file or clone it, or however you want to use the code, and then open it in your IDE of choice. I have VS Code here. And so first thing we're gonna do is to do npm install in the project, in the folder directory that you just downloaded and unzipped. And then once you do that, you're gonna see this node modules folder with all the packages installed. The next thing is to do npm start to start our dev server. So with that, basically what we're gonna do is go to localhost 3000, and once the dev server is started, we can see our homepage there. Okay, now the dev server is ready, and we are in the homepage. You'll see this new button here compared to the previous videos. This is where we're gonna do our video scrub thing. So with GreenSock. So right now it's just like a blank page with just this text here, and that's what we have under the views pages. We have the pug file, which has basically the markup for this page, and also we have under styles pages, we have the video scrub.scss here, which I have for the styling, just a little bit of styling, nothing super crazy there. And finally I have this index.js file under app pages and video scrub. Now notice that I'm not under canvas in 3js stuff that we did. We were mainly focused on the index.js file under 3js here, but now it's not 3js what we're doing today. So I have under my pages video scrub and index.js, which is just the boilerplate that we have here, nothing much there either. So first thing I'm gonna do, we did the Google Earth Studio thing. We have our video and our images. Now for the video, you probably received an email, and you can download the video, and you can place the video under the static folder under videos. You should be able to place that video here. This is what I got in my email, and so I've just copied it over here. And for the images, you can copy the folder that you basically got from Google Earth Studio, the Monaco F1 folder with everything, the footage and like all the other files there. The footage will have all your images, like 601 images, each corresponding to one frame. One thing to note is that these images, they can be like 2 megabytes or something like that. So as we will talk more about it later, if you decide to do something like this in your projects or your websites, you will have to use like an image compressor or some kind of online tool to compress your images. And just you can imagine, if you have 600 images and each is like 2 megabyte, it's gonna be more than 1 gigabyte, which is gonna be really bad for your website. You might actually also end up implementing some loading so that like while the images are being loaded, you will show some text or some loading animation to the website visitors. So keep that in mind. First thing we're gonna do, we're gonna focus on using the video right now. The video is about like 30 megabytes or something, so not too big, but we'll see some problems with video, and we'll find out later on that the scrubbing through images is actually gonna give us a better result. So as I said, we're gonna focus on the video first. So in the video-scrub.pug, the pug file markup that I have here, I am going to replace what I have here right now with a video scrub wrapper, and I'll have my HTML5 video tag here, just a class name here, and for the source I have my video that I just like copied under my static videos, since this Webpack boilerplate that we've been using basically takes care of everything under a static folder and moves them to our public folder, which is our build folder. You can see here it's directly under public videos, so we just do videos / Monaco F1 right there. So again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out my previous videos and the Webpack boilerplate video that I have. You'll understand everything. So I have this video here right now. We're gonna do a little bit of adjustment to our CSS file as well. So just gonna make that wrapper flexbox, and then I'll put my video, basically the entire screen, 100 viewport width and 100 viewport height. And let's save this as well. And right now, if we go to this page right here, we should be able to see the video, but right now I can't scroll or anything, so this is just the first frame of the video. We need to implement some logic in our index.js file, the JavaScript under app pages video scrub here. So there is like a piece of code that you can actually, if you Google video scrubbing using GreenSock, you can find a few codes there. So I'm actually going to be using this piece of code inside my create function. This is also being called as my page is getting loaded. So again, I've explained this all in my Webpack boilerplate video, so go check that out. So we're using the gsap utils method here, and then also I believe it's going through like different frames of the video. This is the class that we defined for our video right here, and so using this code it just does the scrubbing for us for different frames. Take a look at it in the final code that will be also on GitHub. You can find the link in the description box below this video, and you can also play with these start and end points for a ScrollTrigger just to see if you can make your videos just perform a little bit better. If I save it right now here and go back to the video-scrub endpoint I have here, if I start scrolling right now, nothing happens still. The reason is that we need to give this video wrapper scrolling space. Right now it's just like 100 viewport height, so I'm just gonna give it 600 viewport height, and that's because my video has like 600 ish frames, and I found that like 600 viewport height is actually gonna be the best combination that I can use here. Again, you can like adjust it based on your videos. So right now here, if I start scrolling very slowly, we can see like it is moving. We are going through the frames, the video frames, but it's not really smooth, and it's like kind of laggy. Sometimes the scroll, it takes a second or so until we see the video move. So keep like scrolling, and you can see it does go through the video, but it's not the best experience, and that's why I'm going to show you the second way that we can do this, and that's using the images that we downloaded. This is like a little bit laggy and probably not the best user experience. Again, you might be able to find something better for this video scrub in here, but or like play with these numbers, maybe it helps better. And keep in mind, we have 600 frames, and that's probably too much in like a production website. You probably don't want to have too many frames, especially with the image method that I'm about to tell you. that may be like really big. As I mentioned earlier, 600 images can be like about 1 GB of data, so that's not gonna be really good for your website. And don't forget that you definitely need to compress your images. Right now I'm not doing it because it's just like a tutorial, but in production ready websites you need to take care of that. All right, so let's comment out this section for the video scrubbing, and I'm going to make a little bit of change to my POG file as well. So I'm going to comment out the video, and then I'm going to add a canvas for the images that I am going to basically kind of like scroll through. So again, as we saw earlier, I have all my images under the static folder, images, and then Monaco F1 and footage folder. So all the 601 images are here, starting from Monaco 1_000 JPEG all the way to 600. So I'm gonna save this here, and then we can get rid of this styling here because we don't need that. Everything will be taken care of in the JavaScript file here. So first thing I'm gonna do, I'm going to grab that class, grab that canvas that I have here using the query selector, and then I'm also gonna define a constant for the context of that canvas. And I'll put some links in the description box below this video. If you don't know what canvas and the context are, just go through these videos. You can also search online. I'm sure there's a lot of information about all that. So the next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna have our entire screen basically covered by the images. So this is how we do it for the width and height of our canvas. We're assigning the window inner width and inner height. And as I've mentioned multiple times, we have 601 frames here that we need to go through. So I'm just assigning a constant there, and then we're gonna store all our images in a array. So for that I'm defining an array called images, and then I'm gonna go through a loop from 0 to the frame counts to 600, and I'm gonna use the current frame function here that I'm defining basically to get all the sources for images. And again, everything is under images, Monaco F1, footage, and all the names have the Monaco F1 underscore in them, and then we'll go through the index. Since we have 3 digits for each number, I'm doing like this to string dot pad start 30 to add like the additional zeros to the index. So for 0 it's gonna be 000, and then like so on. So if I have like 25 as index, it's gonna be 025, which is exactly the name of the image that I have here. So that's a little quick trick to get the index number here match the number that we have on the image names. And then after that I'm gonna define an object here. We'll just call it Monaco, and then the frame property of that is gonna be 0. And using GSAP, I'm gonna basically look at this target, and the target is gonna be this Monaco, and then the frame number will be changing here. And I am also using the onUpdate method here. For the first image onload, we're just gonna call this function, and this is how we define it. We're using the context.clearRect to kind of like clear up our canvas, not like clearing, kind of like as you can see here, clear rect basically sets the pixels in a rectangular area to transparent black. So I put this link also in the description box below this video. But as for our GreenSock, the GSAP2 method here, we are using ScrollTrigger, and the trigger is our class for the canvas. And then start, I have this defined it center and center. We need to set the scrub and pin to true. And if you don't know what those are, there is like a very good documentation on the GreenSock website, so I'll again put links to those as well. You have scrub here, you have pinning here, right here, and also you have the on update, which will be called every time the progress of the scroll trigger changes. So this is the code. Again, you might find similar codes online, so I just wanted to show you this is how you can go through the images on a scroll. And the key point here is that we have the correct number of frames here, and then the way we are assigning the source to our images here. So once I save that, and once we go back here to localhost 3000, you'll see here in the terminal that the Webpack boilerplate that we have, there is a package that basically lets us see all the images as they're being kind of downloaded. So we see like it went through all the 600 image, and we got the 200 requests there. So here now we have all the images, and if I start scrolling right now, as you can see, this is much smoother than the video that we had. So I keep scrolling, and then we are moving through all the frames that we basically created in Google Earth Studio. So that's exactly the same kind of frames that we had in the video, and this is where we ended. So this is really cool. You can use it on any type of video. You can like break them down into images by frame, which will actually give you the option to scrub through them. And this is basically the kind of result that you can get. The things that you need to keep in mind, again, the number of images, don't let them to be too many. Compress the images. The file size is really important, and for a production site, you might want to have like a loading indicator or something while these images are being loaded. So that's about it. The other one that I created was this one, through like scrubbing through a bunch of images that I had for like the Manhattan area in New York. And as you can see, I'm scrolling and kind of eventually ending up at Central Park. So these are really cool. I really love this effect, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you found it helpful, make sure to hit the like button below the video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and hit the also turn the notification bell on. If you have any questions, also don't forget to ask them in the comments below this video. And that's all for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.